Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builders Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Stanley number F179, 4.5 by 4.5. DD is the finish. This is a full mortise standard weight, plain bearing, steel base, painted dark bronze finish hinge. That's what it looks like. Okay. I'm a fan of Stanley hinges, and it's because I personally do believe that they are exceptional, and it is because of their fit and finish. The hinge always looks like it's manufactured very thoroughly, very completely. This manufacturer does a good job at getting the finish inside of the area where the leaf meets the inside portion, or the crotch, so to speak, of the intersection to the barrel. I'm always very pleased with how they make that look very finished and complete. This is an F179. That means a number of things. That means, first of all, that it's made of steel and that it is a plain bearing hinge. Okay, there are no bearing packets at all anywhere, just a plain bearing hinge. You would use this for an incredibly light volume of usage on the door. If you're doing any sort of volume on the door, any regular use, absolutely go with a ball bearing hinge. Plain bearing hinges do absolutely, without question, wear out measurably in a relatively short amount of time. And on a door with a lot of volume, you'll notice just within a couple of years substantial wear and tear. Okay, so be mindful of that. It also means it's a 5-knuckle hinge. You can certainly see 5 knuckles. It means that it's a full mortise hinge. You can see from the swag on the hinge leaves here and here that it is meant to, the leaves are meant to be mortised flush to the edge of the door and frame when they're brought parallel. Now the size is 4.5 by 4.5 on this hinge. That specifically means that the hinge is 4.5 inch tall. The height is the first dimension. The width is the second dimension. Probably doesn't matter a whole lot to not understand or to realize that if you're dealing with hinges that are square, but if you're dealing with a very common hinge, 4.5 by 4, you would certainly want to know that the height is the first dimension, which in fact is the opposite way that doors are sized. So be mindful that the height is the first dimension. DD, I'm going to say that that certainly is going to be your dark bronze finish. This is a sprayed finish that is certainly not black. It's a good reflection of it there. And it's certainly going to complement a dark bronze type color on aluminum storefront. Not that you would really have a 4.5 by 4.5 with a square corner. Aluminum storefront, certainly going to be ball bearing. Generally 4.5 by 4, and usually a radiused corner as well. There is a feature on this hinge, the NRP, non-removable pin. There's a set screw that's there. And you'll notice that you can't see it from the outside. You can't get to it even if you tried. You can't see it at all. What that does is when that set screw, when the pin is tapped down and the set screw is tightened, that set screw will sit into a groove that's cut in the pin that prevents the pin from being driven out. I've tried. It basically renders it impossible using normal means to get the pin out of the hinge assembly. You will want to be sure to always use non-removable or some other method of security on a hinge for exterior doors that swing out. There is a link below this video to a document called Template that we will be able to review the dimensional properties of the hinge as it relates to the location of the holes for the screws. The dimension from the end of the leaf to the center of each hole, the dimension from the outside of the leaf to the center of each hole is clearly defined. The template. This is also called the template pattern. The template is something that we refer to. It's a drawing, but when we're speaking about hinge location, screw locations in a hinge, and if we call it the template pattern, it means it's this half circle sort of scenario, otherwise known as the template pattern. This has been a standard for a very long time. Hinges that existed certainly I'm going to guess pre-1970 could likely be a different pattern. So be mindful that if you're not sure of what your hole locations are on an existing hinge, you might want to look at that template and verify prior to ordering it. However, on a 4.5 hinge, the template pattern as located here is, it would have to be an incredibly old hinge for it to be anything other than a template pattern on a 4.5 by 4. Although they do exist. You can pull up catalogs that are several decades old, and sure enough, in fact, I was looking at a either Yale or Corbin catalog. Their hole locations were exactly reversed. That catalog would have been from before World War II, certainly. Between World War I and II, I believe is where I saw that. Probably Corbin is what I think I was looking into. On that template, there are several other part numbers, and that's nice to know because the template will work for lots of other hinges, whether it be a plain bearing or a 3-knuckle or a concealed bearing, standard weight or heavyweight. I did forget to mention the F179 also means standard weight. On a commercial grade hinge, standard weight means 134 thousandths in this size, and my hinge leaf measures 0.132. So in a commercial grade hinge product from Stanley, they'll make it in a standard weight. They'll also make it in a heavyweight, and you would not certainly get a heavyweight in a plain bearing. If you're going to do a thicker hinge, which would be 180 thousandths thick, you'll certainly have a ball bearing hinge, and that would be an FBB 168 would be the part number. You can notice that part number, as is the F179, in the steel column, if you wanted non-ferrous, whether that be stainless steel or brass bronze type base materials, that part number changes as well. Lots of other information are on there. They also refer to the screws. Screws are indeed included in a complementary finish, all machine screws and all wood screws. That is not necessarily all the time guaranteed you're going to get all wood and all machine. Standard practice would dictate that you specify the screw package that you want. You might be doing all, wood door, wood frame. You might want to be absolutely sure that you get all wood screws, so you indicate in the comment field what you'd like. Stanley hinges always include cardboard. These are shims, and these are handy to use to be able to help move your door in the position that you want. Never use a piece of cardboard as a shim on a fire rated door. That would technically void the fire rating of the entire opening if you're using cardboard or business cards or zip ties or anything behind a hinge to move it. You need to get steel hinges. That's what's permissible on a fire rated door. Looking at the extended description down below, an overview of where this hinge is used: interior, exterior doors, a variety of applications. Template screw hole pattern, as we talked about. Standard weight, steel base, 5-knuckle. Use anti-friction bearings on high and average frequency doors and all doors equipped with door closers. And I would add to that, fire-rated doors need to have ball bearing hinges as well. Other options, being Stanley, they can do anything on a hinge that can be done. Full mortise, full surface, half mortise, raised barrel, swing clear, anchor style, on and on and on. Electrification to hinges, meaning electric preparation of the hinge for electric transfer is what I'm trying to say. Decorative tips, hospital tips, different versions of security functions, like a security stud would be available. If you are even remotely interested in hinges and options, I would very much encourage you to look at the manufacturer's catalog that you can get to from the link below this video. The name Stanley is synonymous with hinges, and in my opinion would be an exceptional company for you to look at when you're looking for not only a high caliber, high fit and finish hinge, but available options from a single manufacturer that basically covers all of the bases. And of course you can do this hinge in any finish that Stanley is capable of doing. Your brasses, your bronze, your chromes, satin, polished, prime coat, oil rub bronze, etc. Any questions on the Stanley? This is their part number F179 in an NRP finish, plain bearing in a DD dark bronze painted finish, or any other Stanley product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.